Need more evidence the U.S. is about to deport U.S. citizens? Here it is. I'm a lawyer in real life. I don't play one on television, and something happened this week that you need to see and hear in order to believe it.
My amendment is simple, and I hope that it has bipartisan support. It simply states that none of the funds in this bill may be used by Immigration and Customs Enforcement to detain or deport U.S. citizens. Whether you're a Democrat or a Republican, I hope we can all agree that U.S. citizens should never be detained by ICE or any agency conducting civil immigration enforcement. They certainly should not be deported. This should not be a partisan issue. It's about protecting the most basic constitutional rights of U.S. citizens.
Not one Republican voted yes to this amendment.
Clerk will report.
Mr. Chairman, there are 11 ayes and 12 noes.
Not one Republican thought it was important enough to protect U.S. citizens and not use federal funds to deport their own constituents. So ask yourself, why vote against this if you're not intending to use it? Why not protect American citizens if it's not your plan to deport American citizens? You have to watch what they vote for, and most importantly, you have to watch what they refuse to protect. They have voted not to protect American citizens. We're no longer in the realm of science fiction or conspiracies. These things are actually happening. We know they have already deported children who are U.S. citizens. Who's next?
So I posted one of these reels on Facebook, and it was one that talked about that they're deporting U.S. citizens, and this guy, who's Republican, obviously, said, "Well, no, they're not deporting U.S. citizens," and then in the same sentence, he says, "Besides, it's the woman's daughter, and you're allowed to take your daughter with you." And I'm like, dude, you were missing the point. You can't deport U.S. citizens. You can't, generally, unless there's a good reason, deport lawful permanent residents. And this, basically rounding up people and sending them to these immigration prisons, immigration offenses, if there are any, are not crimes. They're civil offenses. So you can't just lock them up indefinitely. They're constitutional issues. But this whole denial that this is wrong and that it's not, that you can legally do this, you can't deport U.S. citizens and send them, to these awful camps, and it just completely skirts the issue to say otherwise. I mean, this is a moral failing. It is a legal failing. It is one of the worst things we've done. It is like the Japanese internment, except it's worse because it could be worse based on the numbers. Eventually, but what we're doing, we're deporting them, and that's just, the Constitution doesn't allow it, morality doesn't allow it, but that hasn't stopped Donald Trump, because the Constitution and morality don't stop him. They don't stop the MAGA people, because they're all just reprehensible people, and that's just the way they've always been. It's the way they'll always be.
Hey, so we're just gonna deport United States citizens now? What are you doing? I just got the pat on the head from Daddy Trump. What's going on? You're disgusting. I hope you know that. We are deporting United States citizens. Us Republicans are in charge, so we decided to, yes, deport United States citizens because we got to protect America. And what's more important than protecting America from Americans themselves? That is the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my entire life. The Republican Party is a nightmare. Okay, where are we deporting all these United States citizens that were born here? Back to where they came from, duh. They were born here. So, what does that even mean? Where are you gonna send them? I don't know, let's just say we deport you, a United States born citizen here. Where do you wanna go? Probably a place with free healthcare, maternity leave, things like that. You know what? Send me to Fiji, Scotland, any of the SCOVID nations. What about Wakanda? Is that on the, are we able to do that one? Wait, Wakanda is real? I swear to God that if you tell Trump that Wakanda is going to take all of our United States citizens and put in their prisons, he will say it in a press briefing. Please do that. You, my man, have good ideas. You should be a Republican because we're just chock full of them. Where are you going to send the Native Americans that are on the reservations and whatnot? India. Oh, hey, what's that over there? Is that Trump? Oh boy, back to work.
April 30th, breaking news.
You're not going to believe this. I'm stunned that I have to tell you this. Republicans just voted, every single one of them, to allow Donald Trump to deport U.S. citizens.
Now, I'm speculating here, so let's just chat it out logically. You remember whenever Donald Trump and dictator Bukele were having that conversation in the Oval Office, and it was caught on a hot mic, and Trump was mentioning that, hey, we need to build more facilities over there like CCOT to hold the homegrowns. So that's what this is likely speaking to, right? They're going to announce this as, I'm guessing, I haven't heard anything else about this yet, but let's get ahead of it. They're going to come out and say it's only going to be the hardened criminals, okay? It's only going to be the murderers, the sexual abusers, right? Those types of people. If that's the case, everyone in prison already, you just move those guys over, right? That would, you think, would be the extent of it, right? But that's obviously not what we've seen with immigrants. They're straight up picking people off of the streets who haven't had a court hearing or they haven't been convicted of crimes, and they're still being shipped off. The same thing is going to happen here. This is about to move from just immigrants to United States citizens, and the same muddying of the waters is going to occur. Mark my words. This is our last chance to get out, hit the streets, and end this. This is the beginning of the end. He's going to start shipping off people who disagree with him. He's going to start locking up journalists. He's going to start... Dude, ICE is the new Gestapo, and it's time that we fully accept it. That's all there is to it. That's all there is to it. If you still support Trump, I don't know what's wrong with you. If you're not following me yet, I don't know what's wrong with you. Hope you have a great day.
Okay, well, this is being reported by just about every news outlet in existence. The GOP has voted to allow ICE to detain and deport U.S. citizens. You heard me right. But before I continue, please be sure to comment, share, and like. It's important that we stay connected. Stay with me, folks. This is another long one. Now, during a House Judiciary Committee meeting on Wednesday, Democrats tabled amendments to a sweeping budget bill that President Donald Trump has dubbed One Big Beautiful Bill. One amendment to this budget bill was introduced by Representative Pramila Jayapal, the Democrat from Washington State. She sought to make clear that Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE, cannot detain or deport U.S. citizens under any circumstances. Well, GOP lawmakers killed that bill. I know this is related to birthright citizenship. I know this is what some people refer to as the anchor baby clause. But keep in mind, this could be so far-reaching for government control over the population. Trump has already said that he's willing to revoke someone's citizenship. And if you can revoke someone's citizenship, then that means that the children of those that have had their citizenship revoked, let's say naturalized Americans, are now at risk also of being deported. Here's an example. If your parents came here legally from, I don't know, let's just say Tunisia. They came here legally, became naturalized American citizens, had their children born here in the U.S., lived here all their lives, and now, for whatever reason, these Tunisian parents have offended this administration in some way. Their offense can now be construed as a crime. Their citizenship can then be revoked. And now you, too, are at risk of being deported because you are now classified as a U.S. citizen born of immigrant parents. You can now also be detained and deported by ICE. But even beyond that, Trump has already said that he would be willing to deport U.S. homegrown citizens as well, to the likes of those notorious prisons like the one in El Salvador. No due process. You've just offended the administration, that's it. You've been labeled, put on a terrorist list, and shipped out of the country, regardless of your status as an American citizen. People who voted for this president and support his administration will live the rest of their lives in shame at the calamity that they brought up on all of our heads. In the meantime, peace.
To the Republican Party, I ask you once again, what the hell are you doing? For every last one of you to vote that it is okay for this president to have the power to deport U.S. citizens, for every last one of you to vote in favor of that, I really need to know what the problem is. Every American citizen, left, right, liberal, conservative, it does not matter. We need answers from you. And so far, people have been asking for answers in the town halls. People have been demanding answers when they call you. People have been showing up to Capitol Hill trying to get answers. You guys don't understand how serious people are going to get in trying to figure out what the hell is wrong with all of you. Because at this point, it is beyond just we are scared of the man in the White House. It is beyond the whole we had to put up with whatever we had to put up with during the Biden administration, so now we're getting our chance to wield the power that we've always wanted to wield. There is something deeper, there is something dark, there is something very insidious filtering throughout your party. How on earth can you justify signing off on something like this? I say this all the time. We understand that both parties have their issues. We understand that when it comes to Democrats, there are a lot of things that they do that even their own voters don't agree with. But at no time does that party, at no time has that party ever signed off on this idea of due process no longer being a thing. Rights from actual American citizens being taken away. Disregarding orders from the Supreme Court, disregarding amendments from the Constitution. At no point in time have you ever seen the Democratic Party conduct business that way. So what is going on with Republicans? Y'all have to answer these questions. Seriously, what are you getting out of this? What is this doing for your psyche? What is this doing for your soul? And do you honestly think that when this is all over, because regardless of what any of you say, this is not going to be the power structure forever. You can disable all of the organizations that handle elections. You can set up any sort of guardrails you think will work to keep you from losing those seats in Congress and ultimately losing that presidency. But it won't work. Because it never has. Republicans have been trying to do things like this for a long time. Go back and look at it through history. But when it all falls apart, what are you gonna say? Y'all just gonna sit there and say you didn't have a choice? Are you gonna sit there and say this is what the people wanted? This is what the people voted for? Because it's not. Are you gonna keep playing that game of I was afraid, I was threatened, it was something that was out of my control? Because it's in your control. You could at any point in time, literally like 5 of you could get together and say, we don't agree with this. And it would make a huge, huge difference. But you keep refusing to do so. That is not going to sit well with the people. And it's not even going to spill over into elections anymore. People are going to get very, very angry with you very, very soon. People you know, people who voted for you in your local districts. Are you prepared for that? Because I doubt when this moment in the sun where you guys think you control everything and have all this power and will have all this power forever, I doubt that when it is over, you're going to be able to go back to your constituents. You're going to be able to go back to regular people and just say that this was a part of doing business. I don't think people are gonna vibe with that. So tell us now, before people just decide to stop asking this question altogether. What the hell are you doing?